Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have something a little bit different for you. We're going to do a travel vlog because the other week I went to Copenhagen and I wanted to share what I got up to, some yarn stores that I visited and the amazing food that I ate. This wasn't my first time in Copenhagen, so I had a bit of a plan of what I wanted to do and see while I was there. But it was my sister's first time, so we kind of put our heads together and decided to prioritise some vintage shopping, obviously the yarn stores, and some bakeries and restaurants that we've been dying to try. On our first full day, we started with breakfast at Bottega Barlie in Fredrikstaden. We both went for the Turkish eggs, which were delicious. And just across the road there's a bakery that Izzy really wanted to try called Apotek 57. So we picked up a cinnamon bun and a cardamom bun from here. These were lovely, but we had a lot of baked goods on this trip, so I wouldn't rank them as my favourite, but definitely one to check out if you go. Next we headed towards the centre of town for a bit of a browse around the shops. I love the fashion scene in Copenhagen and I've found a lot of my favourite brands just wandering around the city. So I wanted to take Izzy to some of the stores that I'd visited on my last trip, and I didn't get much footage of this because I thought it would probably be boring for this vlog, but we definitely spent a lot of our day in and out of shops, just looking mostly, but feeling very inspired. On this first day, we only stopped by one yarn store, Sommerfuglen. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I hadn't actually been to this one before and I was surprised how big the shop was. They had a great selection of yarns with a lot of hand-dyed options, a massive knitting for olive wall, as well as more of the big box brands. I actually came here looking for something specific that I thought they had from my research online, but it turned out they didn't stock it, so I left here empty-handed, which was a little bit sad, but I would definitely go back to this shop next time I'm in Copenhagen. After that, we stopped by a seafood restaurant for dinner called Fiskebar. This one was in Vesterbro, and I didn't get any footage of this again, but I would definitely recommend trying this if you are a fan of seafood. The next day we kicked things off with another bakery. This one was called Meyers Bageri in Uldstedet. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is wrong for all of these things. You can correct me in the comments if you know how to say what I'm trying to say. Here I went for a savoury bake with potatoes, pesto and cheese. The coffee here was actually the best cup of coffee that I've had in months, so I highly recommend it if you like coffee and you like black coffee like me. Once we were all fueled up in the morning, we went vintage shopping. There's a lot of areas that have great vintage shops that we found recommended on a bunch of different YouTube videos, which I'll leave linked below as well if you're interested in that. So we kind of spent the morning browsing around again, and I think Izzy found some good bits, but again, I didn't really want to film that. In the afternoon, we took the metro over to Frederiksberg to visit Knitting for Olive. If you know me, you'll know how much I love Knitting for Olive, so I absolutely had to take my sister here. We spent a good while browsing the store, looking at all the colours, feeling some of the yarns, getting an idea of what the shades looked like in person, and I actually did pick up a couple of bits while I was here, so I will show you that now. The first thing I picked up was the Knitting for Olive Merino in the Bordeaux colourway, which is this lovely burgundy colour. I didn't have a lot of room in my luggage on this trip for yarn, so I only picked up 2 balls of this, and I decided to cast on while I was there, I wanted to make another sample of my boat neck tank top design that I'm planning to release this summer. Obviously merino is probably not the best choice for a tank top, and I was looking for cotton merino, but they didn't have the burgundy shade, and I needed the burgundy in something. So I picked up some needles as well while I was there, because I actually didn't bring any knitting with me on this trip. I kind of assumed that I'd want to start a project with some yarn that I got here, and that was the case. So yeah, I didn't do this all while we were in Copenhagen, but this is how far I am, and this is one ball of the Knitting for Olive merino, and I don't think I'll even use the full second ball to finish this top, so I'll have to find another use for it. But that is that. And then I also had a gift card for Knitting for Olive that I got for Christmas, and ironically I used it the week before we confirmed the trip. So silly me, but I got home to this package of, again, the Knitting for Olive merino it's in the blood orange colourway, and it's this kind of bright orangey red colour. And this, I sort of thought it counted because I would have picked it up if I had room in my suitcase and hadn't used the gift card already. But this is earmarked for another solid Neve sweater, which I'm wearing the lilac version of. So I wanted to do it in kind of a bright poppy red. I think that's a gap in my wardrobe that I would like to fill. So that is all the yarn that I got from Knitting for Olive in store and then online accidentally. But yeah, I really enjoyed looking around the shop. I think it's one of the prettiest yarn stores that I've ever been to. Obviously they only stock their own brand, so everything looks quite uniform, but I really enjoyed wandering around and showing my sister. After Knitting for Olive, we made our way towards Torvehallaren to pick up some food for dinner. I didn't film this again, but just across the road I did film in Uldstedet, which is another yarn store with loads of great options. I have been here previously, and I actually came here with the intent of picking up an extra skein of the handwerkersgarn for my Barber number 11 sweater dupe that I'm working on. I don't know why I don't have it in this pile. Hang on, let me just grab it. Okay, this is the handwerkersgarn that I picked up, and I originally got, I think, 4 skeins of this 2 or 3 years ago when I was last in Copenhagen, with the intention of making a cable jumper, but I didn't get the right sweater quantity. I'm not sure why, so that never happened, and now I'm working on another sweater with this, which is the Ness sweater from Morsa Knits, I think. Anyway, I needed another ball, so that is the only thing that I got at this shop. Like the previous yarn store, they had a lot of different options, a lot of hand-dyed options and more brand names this time around. But my favourite thing about this store is the accessories and the notions that they carry. Last time I was in Copenhagen, I actually picked up a set of handmade stitch markers, which I still use to this day, and they always remind me of that trip. So I think it's really special when you go somewhere and you get like a little souvenir like that you can kind of look at and remember where you got it and what you were doing. The next day we were all shopped out, so we decided that this day would be dedicated to some sightseeing, but not before our requisite morning bake. This one was a vanilla bun from Juno Bakery, and it was my favourite baked good from the trip, so I would highly recommend checking this bakery out if you're in Copenhagen. We thought it was so good that we actually picked up a second one to go, and we walked over to the Little Mermaid and had our second bun in the park and a little knitting break there as well, before walking through to Kastellet, which is the old fortress. I took a lot of footage here, ironically, because the sun was shining and everything just looked so nice against the blue skies. We then walked towards the harbour and the famous row of colourful houses before stopping by the King's Garden to enjoy the rest of the afternoon sun. This was our last full day in Copenhagen, so we went all out for our dinner this night, which was at Delphine. It's a Greek and Italian inspired restaurant that does sharing plates, and it had a great atmosphere and it was very busy. It also had a separate section for private events, so a good one if you've got a lot of people and you're not sure where to go. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you liked this video. I know it was a little bit different, so if you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this, or you'd prefer me to just stick to the yarny project vlogs. Speaking of which, I actually do have a project vlog coming up for my Baba number 11 sweater dupe that I'm working on with the handwerker's garn that I showed you. It's taking a little while because I had some issues with the pattern starting off. My issues completely nothing to do with the pattern, but yeah, it's been a bit slow going. So if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and otherwise I hope you have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.